It is really annoying how loud the traffic is, and also the light behind me, but it's fine. I'm really curious why we point out our flaws. And I have a theory about it. I think it's mostly to like preempt other people noticing them. Like, we point out what we consider to be our flaws because we assume that other people are seeing them, and we want to be like, it like makes us feel better. It's like, no, I'm aware of this. Like, I realize that I have a crooked nose, or I have dark under eye circles, or like my skin is freaking out right now. But what I think is really funny about that is I don't think that people notice those things if we don't point them out, like at all. Because I've definitely been in positions where like I'm watching a video of someone, and like a makeup video, and I'm not paying attention, like I'm not seeing those things. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh my God, my skin is like so bad right now, I'm breaking out all over the place. And you can tell that that person is like very uncomfortable with that. And then I'm like, oh, I do notice like some of the breakouts that you have. But it's like, I wasn't looking at those. I wasn't thinking about them. The reason that I've been thinking about this is because on my other channel, I had a subscriber comment and say, it was a video about nose contouring. And they were like, you shouldn't, like, I mean, they were being very nice about it, but they were saying like, you shouldn't point out your flaws. Like, we're not seeing them the way you are. And I was like, well, yeah, okay, valid, very valid. But it is a little bit different on my other channel, obviously, because I'm trying to teach you how to do certain things. I'm trying to like make you see my facial features the way I see them, so that I can explain to you why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's educational, you know? So it is technically, I guess, necessary in those situations to explain that like my nose is a little bit crooked, or it has like a little bit of a bump, and obviously like it only makes sense for me to point those things out to you so that I can explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. But it got me thinking about all these videos that I make about concealing dark circles. This is obviously all on my beauty channel, but concealing under eye circles, correcting certain facial features, like contouring your jawline, contouring your nose, even like how I do my eyeshadow a lot of the time. It's to make my features look slightly better, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I am correcting not necessarily what I consider to be flaws, but I guess that's how I make them come off. And in these videos that I've done these things, and I'll point out certain things that I don't like about my face or whatever, I always have people commenting and saying like, I actually really like your dark under eyes. Like, I actually find them to be very attractive. They add character to a face. They're much more interesting. Your nose, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just have so many people compliment the things that I don't necessarily love about my features. And I think that's so interesting because I've definitely been in conversations with subscribers where, you know, we're commenting back and forth. They're asking me questions. They're explaining certain things that they don't like about themselves. And I'm usually very curious, so I like to like creep a little bit on people's photos and stuff. But it also just kind of helps me understand like what they're talking about. And I never see those things the way they're describing them. I hope that makes sense. But I think that this is such an important thing that we have to remind ourselves, and it's something that we genuinely have to sort of reprogram about our brains. And there are obviously a lot of factors. I think social media is a huge one. Obviously, just media in general is a huge one. Movies and television and what we're used to seeing. It obviously influences the way we look at ourselves and what we find to be attractive. And unfortunately, it really is a matter of like rewiring your brain to see yourself a different way. Like, not to immediately see all the things that you don't necessarily like about yourself, or to switch the way that you view them so that you're not looking at them as flaws. Now, I'm going to be doing a video, I don't know if it's up yet or not, about my experience with under eye filler. But while we're speaking about flaws, that was one of my biggest insecurities, was my, deep set, dark under eyes. And that's one of the reasons that I got filler, obviously. After making a video about concealing my dark under eye circles, my view of them changed drastically. Like within months of just receiving certain comments from people, whether they were people saying, thank you so much for making this video, mine are so much worse than yours, or like I have really bad under eye circles and like this has helped me so much. But there were so many people, which like blew my mind, who were complimenting them and saying that like they actually really liked the way they looked. And I was like, what? And it probably took maybe a year or so for me to, I think with the help of those affirmations from people, to sort of like change my view of them. And I feel so much more comfortable in like just my face the way it is. I used to never be able to go out without concealer, and like I do that pretty often. So I think it's going to take a lot of work, but I think I think the only way for people to change the way that we look at ourselves, how we look at other people, is to genuinely like try and manipulate. We have to like literally change the way we like look at ourselves. It's going to take a lot of work. The one thing I will say is that I think it does change naturally for most people as they get older. You sort of like come into your own and you feel a lot more confident in yourself. And I really do think that like confidence in general, which is obviously like such a huge subject, has everything to do with how you look at yourself. And also how other people see you. So I'm curious what your opinion on this is. I'm curious where you are in this journey. First of all, your age, because I think that has a huge thing to do with it. I mean, I'm turning 30 in a couple of days. And, obviously, like I've had a lot of ups and downs in this department throughout my life. But I have really like reached a point where I'm becoming much, much more comfortable, confident in like my looks, how I feel about myself, how I feel overall. So I would be interested in hearing where you are, age-wise, how you feel, if you're taking any steps to change certain things about how you look at yourself. Not about changing yourself, how you look, but about changing how you see yourself. Yeah. What do you think? It's a big subject, but I want to know. All right? Great talk.